This episode of The Mimics Vale is brought to you by our newest patrons, Kevin and Jason.
Yeah!
And on this episode, we discuss Test Drive Solar Crown, Tactical Breach Wizards, Balatro, and the Plucky Squire.
I started playing the Plucky Squire last night. Looked forward to playing it because, let's just say it right now, it's bloody gorgeous.
It is.
Oh, gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous. Love that art style. So for those who don't know, Plucky Squire is like it's a computer game, right?
Yeah.
That's the description. Check that box. So it's almost like you are playing in a book, and then something magical happens. A baddie pushes you out of the book, and you can sort of go into the real world and fucking have a wander. So yeah, I played it last night. I don't think I like it that much.
Ooh. How much did you play, do you think?
I have played up to chapter 4 or 5.
Right. Okay. And just for context, and this won't make any sense to anyone who doesn't listen to our Patreon podcast, Chinbat, but you mentioned last night you also studied Mount St. Helens.
I did.
So was this after playing the Plucky Squire?
That was. There's maybe a hidden reference to Mount St. Helens in Plucky Squire.
That's
maybe.
it.
I decided to read about that.
Okay.
Yeah,
rather than play the Plucky Squire.
Yeah. So that's. Yeah, I'm not. I think I will go back to it.
What's your beef?
It's not what I expected. I wanted a Zelda-like, and it is not that. It looks like it would be that, but it isn't. Yeah. And this doesn't detract from the writing is really, really good. It looks gorgeous. Even some of the mini games are cool. I just think it's a bit slow and a touch exposition heavy.
Great
I'm
shout.
sick of hearing that guy talk to me. I'm sick of going to a new page. I've only played it an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. I'm sick of on a new page and being like stopping, and having to they're speaking to each other. It's like I just want to fucking go. I just want to I want to progress, and I want to explore this lovely world that these guys have created. That's my issue with it. It's not what I expected, and that's on me for assuming, you know.
Because it looks like it should be a Zelda-like, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But it is you're getting funneled down a path constantly, it feels like. And there's like, you'll see an NPC and then you'll just be forced into a conversation with them.
Yes.
And it's just like, oh, okay. But I kind of just want to walk about a bit, slash my sword at a few bushes, collect some coins. Just let me do that rather than shoehorning me down this path constantly. Yeah, weird one. But what about you, Alex?
I mean, I think the point I really resonate with, Lewis, is it's too slow. Like, see, when you get to the stage where you have to start manipulating the book to go and do different bits and pieces, like the amount of time it takes to turn those pages and then go back and find something and then go back and taking it, or if you need to go and replace the words in and out, like it's quite fiddly to actually get them. And it does, you can run and throw them, and sometimes they'll swap out for you. But I'm like, it's those little things that just take you out of it. I mean, it's full of creativity. It's so vibrant. It looks amazing. But it just gives you everything on a plate. It's like when it goes into some of those things where you need to find your way through places, and it just zooms out and shows you the route you need to take. I'm like, kind of, why not just let me go and find that out for myself and work out what's going to be there for them. Like, you're taking away some of the magic of it.
It's 2 minutes of exploration that it would take. But yeah, you're right. It almost, when you go into the 3D, it's set on a desk in a kid's bedroom, right?
Yeah.
And you get to a new section, and it will just almost just go right. The camera will just go, go up here, go there, kind of thing. And even when it doesn't do that, there's little arrows pointing you
in the right
where
direction.
to go.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know. I'm really torn because obviously, as a kid, you would think maybe that's going to be useful, and that's maybe quite a nice touch if this is aimed at kids. But this is a Devolver game, which is quite text heavy.
Yep.
I don't think it is aimed at kids primarily. I think it is aimed at us, and I just don't think it. I think it's, like you said, Alex, packed with creativity. There's magical moments. That first time when you pop out of the book and into the real world, like there's not many instances of me playing a game where I will say to Stacey, "Oh, look at this." But that I did it for that. I was like, "Look at this. This is pretty cool," and that is amazing. But it is full of little cool moments like that. That first mini game that you play, where it kind of cuts away. It's this honey badger, isn't it, that you have to fight?
Yeah.
And then it cuts away, and you see this big version of the Plucky Squire who you're playing as, Jot, with massive arms. Yeah. And then it goes into like a Punch-Out style mini game.
Yeah, very cool. Wow.
And I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is cool. But the more of those little moments that happen, the more I'm feeling like, actually, this is all a bit disjointed. Mm-hmm. I did one, and it sounds like you're probably at this stage or just beyond it as well, Lewis, where there's I don't know if it's like a Magic the Gathering style card that's propped up.
Yeah.
And you have to fight someone who's got a bow. Like you're trying
I've
to
not done this bit yet. No.
Okay. But anyway, it's just like, okay, and that's just a completely different gameplay style. And then you get a bow, and then you do another mini game. There's another gameplay mechanic, and none of them are especially fun.
No.
And that all coupled with those moments of being stopped, forced into dialogue, doing everything else, it just feels like I don't feel like I'm in an adventure. It feels like it's just, this thing's happening. Okay, cool. Now this thing's happening. Right, now this thing. And none of it just doesn't feel cohesive at all, which is a shame.
It's maybe one of those that it's still 85 out of 100. I think that's what Open Critic have it at just now.
Mm. Yeah.
Very well reviewed, but I don't know if for our collective tastes, if it came out 7 or 8 years ago, maybe we would have thought differently of it.
Yeah. I also don't know how much of it is an Astrobot hangover, because you got a lot of those magic moments in my Astrobot in different ways. I mean, I know it's completely different to Astrobot, but there's so many bits within Astrobot, you're like, the first time you saw them, you're like, that was amazing. And the gameplay in Astrobot is so much better, so much smoother, so much more slick, so much quicker. And I think there's almost a bit of suffering from that.
That's something I've mentioned, I've mentioned a few on the last few episodes, is how quick movement is on some games. Like I mentioned it for Zero Mission and Returnal. Just so fast, there's no hanging about. But with this, it's like, turn the page. Oh, look at this. Oh, there's a very high up down this hill. Like, Jesus Christ, hurry up.
Which I get is like probably a stylistic choice as well, because it's supposed to be like a story, and that presentation side of it is top. Like, that is 10 out of 10.
It's great.
I can't fault that. The voice work for the narrator, the way that the book is animated, all the animations and stuff, because it's the guy that used to be at Game Freak, right? That did all that art. James Turner, was it? Something like that. And that is all like AAA standard. It kind of reminds me a little bit of some of the gripes that I had with Thank Goodness You're Here, in that it's like, this all kind of looks good, but ultimately, what am I doing? I'm just walking about and then stopping, doing something that's like quite basic, and then that's the end of that. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like a a game as much as a set of different like parts of different games smushed in together with a nice little sheen on the top of it, basically.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, like if it wasn't for the art style predominantly, the writing, like I said, the writing is great. The voice acting, like you mentioned, very, very good. It's funny. But like the gameplay trumps all.
Yep.
It's bland.
It really does.
Yeah, it is, and I do think if it was aimed at kids, well, they'd have to do their own podcast, wouldn't they, and review it themselves. But hey, maybe we could do that one day. Get our kids to review it. No, let's not. But it just doesn't give me enough. Like, there's no challenge whatsoever, and it even gives you the option for story mode as well.
It does.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, and I ummed and ahed to start with, so I was like, oh, well, maybe it's got a bit of bite to it. But I was like, no, I'll stick to standard, and I'll drop it down if I'm struggling. I'm just like, it would be impossible for an adult to struggle with this.
Yeah,
and I think
I agreed. Yeah,
most young kids, barring the reading part, possibly, would sail through this as well, which is not a bad thing. But it's just like, yeah, it's a smorgasbord of lovely little ideas that just don't quite work as a cohesive whole, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a real shame, I think.
Yeah. But it's their first game as well, that studio, isn't it? And I do think there's a bit of that to it that maybe
they'll refine for the next one.
Yeah, maybe there's learnings to take from that. But then, as you say, if they're getting an 85 on Metacritic, they probably think, brilliant, nailed it, first time.
Yeah.
But that does seem exceptionally high for.
It does.
Yeah.
If we're taking gameplay into account, which I do think should be the main factor. Really, but
agreed.
Yeah, shame. But it's on PS Plus, isn't it? So if you've
I'm glad I didn't buy it. It is a shame. I'm glad I didn't buy it though. I'm glad that I've got it on a subscription, because I'd be annoyed if I bought it for the Switch.
Do you think you'd be more inclined to persevere with it if you'd bought it, or do you think you'd just be pissed off and drop it still? Because we've had this discussion before about subscription services. You kind of you probably give up on them quicker than you would if you spent 50 quid on something.
Yeah, I mean, it's something else I kind of want to explore into, in that games fitting into a particular style of how you want to play, like how you want to play stuff handheld. You obviously play on the Switch handheld predominantly. But like, I don't know, I've not tried it yet. Maybe that's what I'll do next, and try Plucky Squire on the Portal. Because it might translate into handheld play better than on the telly. Because there's loads of games that I'm like, I don't want to sit in front of the TV to play this. Undertale, with fucking 40, no, not 40, 85-inch television here. I don't want to play Undertale. I want to use my Switch.
Have you got an 85-inch television?
No, I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that.
What's yours? What's yours again?
65.
I think mine's 50.
Okay.
Alex has got a...
This is where Alex says, I've got a cinema.
Mine's 55.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I win.
I do have a projector.
Okay. Okay, you win. Yeah, shame. I really did hope this would be a sort of a chicory, another chicory for me.
I'm glad it's not that bad.
But the thing is, with Chicory, love it or hate it, it had a gameplay style, and it pursued it, and it developed throughout the game. It didn't do what this does, which is just what we've explained. Shame.
Re-downloaded that as well.
God, it's so good. It's so lovely. I'm actually really gutted that most of you guys didn't like it.
I mean, it's not I didn't like it, it's that I just got fed up of playing it on the telly.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's maybe one of these ones that will suit Portal.
Maybe.
We shall see. We shall see.
We shall see indeed. But yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Style over substance.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you played anything else then, Lewis? Because obviously you just started that last night. Played
Yes.
anything else prior to that?
Ben, after our we had a discussion on a podcast.
We did.
About Balatro. I continued to play Balatro, and I remember you said, "Oh, by the way, I just got this really good card," and then I kept on piling everything into that, and then I did it, and I won. I did the same thing.
Yeah. Happy to help.
Wait there. Let me get. I've got pictures here. I've got my. I don't know what jokers I had, but basically I beat a run on Balatro. I was very happy. I had a joker that gave me like a good multiplier for evens. I had a joker that gave me clubs and spades as one suit, and hearts and diamonds as another suit, so I could combine them. Wow. And I got a card that, when I discarded my first hand, it gave me an upgrade, a planet card for that hand. So I just
discarded every time.
I discarded flush every single time because it was so easy to get a flush because of the hearts, diamonds, spades, clubs. I just put everything into flush. Discard, first flush, next set of cards came up, straight away another flush. So by the end, I had flush at level 29. Oof. And I'd used it 37 times. In comparison with a straight, which was level 2, I'd used twice. 2 pair, used twice. The next highest was high card, and I only used it once. That was just on the odd occasion that I couldn't discard.
Well, literally do anything else, basically.
Yeah. So 37 times, used flush. Great. Oh no, 29 times, sorry. Level 37.
Beautiful.
No, level 29, used 37 times. Fucking hell. Yeah.
I love that at the end of a roguelike run when you're just like, oh, I need to take a screenshot of this. This is really good. Yeah. I do that with games all the time.
Because I stuck it straight in the chat. I was like, yes! Yes! Good. I knew it, and I you know what? I was playing it on my Switch Lite. It's such a great game for the Switch Lite. Yeah. And I've, over the last month or two, I've used my Switch Lite more than my Switch OLED.
I think it's so much easier to just whip it out. I think it's much better for travel. Just putting it in the front pouch of your backpack, for example, you can just pull it out. Have you got a clamshell case on yours?
Yeah, but I took it off because I've not taken it outside in a while. I was like,
okay.
But it's just it feels, because of the construction of it, it just feels like a bounce. It's fine.
Yeah, solid.
Whereas you feel like your Switch will smash into smithereens, and Alex is like, I hope mine smashes into smithereens.
Yeah, more space for Lego. Do you think you might, now that you've finished a run, do you think you might treat yourself to this little beauty, the physical copy of Balatro on the Switch?
I don't know.
Which I got.
I'm tempted by that. Maybe not.
It's a nice little package.
I don't display games like you. They are behind a closed door.
Know me.
I know that you're sitting at your desk and in front of you or to the side of you, like how you're just doing this with your arm. You're putting it back on the shelf.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it's displayed. You'll be surprised, actually. Well, you'll see in a few weeks' time when you guys come here. There's not really a display.
Display will make it a display.
Yeah.
Mounted lights.
There may be a display while we're there.
There better be.
So yeah. So I'm happy.
Well,
I was really chuffed. Really, really chuffed.
Good. On the just on the subject, really quickly, of roguelikes, I did play a little bit of Peglin as well, which was the one that was announced in that last Nintendo Indie World thingy. It is, it's very Balatro.
Is it?
In a way, it's kind of Peggle / Balatro with kind of Slay the Spire style progression sort of thing. It's cool. I think if you like Peggle and you like roguelikes, it's a big recommend, easy recommend. Graphics are dog shit. Like, it is disgusting to look at. It's rubbish. But it's just got that gameplay, like the way that, well, if you like Peggle, it's that, but with basically every peg that you hit contributes to your sort of multiplier, so that you can do more damage against whoever you're fighting at the top of the screen, basically, and that's it. And then you can earn, at the end of every battle, you can earn new orbs that have different powers. So if they might, when the board refreshes and the pegs reappear, it might do damage to, bonus damage to the enemies and stuff like that. It's got all that stuff like you get in Balatro with the Jokers. It's got all of that, but in Peggle, it's just it's cool.
You playing it on your deck?
On the deck, yeah. Just been getting into lots of playing a little bit of this, a little bit of that on the deck at the moment, in a bit of a roguelike phase. I played a bit of Shogun Showdown as well, which came out fairly recently. Which
that just your really well done. It's like a 90 or something, I think.
Yeah, that's really good. Which is it's quite hard to explain. I need to play it more and give them more of a full breakdown on it. And also played a bit of I Am Your Beast as well. Don't know if you guys have heard of that one.
I did see it in the family library. It looks quite interesting.
It is. It's kind of like Neon White, but a bit more hardcore, a bit more violent, dying a lot more. But so it's kind of a first-person shooter. We just have to get through a level basically as quickly as possible. It's like a speed running kind of thing with different objectives and stuff. And it's got a really cool kind of presentation to it. But yeah, I'll probably play all of those a bit more and have a bit more to say about them later on in the calendar year. But the main one that I've played since last we spoke is Tactical Breach Wizards, which is a very silly name, but it is silly, like obviously with a name like that. But it is like a turn-based tactics game. So think along the lines of, Mario plus Rabbids or Into the Breach or, something like that. I think probably XCOM to an extent, something like that. You basically, I think Into the Breach is probably the closest direct comparison, because playing in quite small levels, a lot of you're trying to. Have either of you guys play Into the Breach, by the way, before I compare it to that?
I think I got it, but I've never played it.
Yeah, so a lot of that is about pushing your enemies from place to place and trying to get them to slam into each other or slam into walls and damage them that way. This is more about moving them around and trying to get them out of windows. It's really a heavy emphasis on defenestration. You get at the end of every level, your objectives, it'll give you a bonus for how many times you've managed to force someone out of a window. It's quite it's very, very silly. But I think the guy, the fucking guy, what's his name? Tom Francis, the guy that made this, has made a couple of other games that are really popular, really well reviewed, called Gunpoint and Heat Signature prior to this, and I think they both involve that as well. So this is like the defenestration trilogy, the unofficial thing. But the wizard part of it is just you're not just shooting people, you've got special powers and stuff, which just makes things a little bit more sort of interesting. So your main, or not your main character, the guy you start with, Zan, he can kind of create clones of himself, send them off, they automatically shoot at the nearest enemy, stuff like that. He can also, and this is a big part of the actual gameplay mechanic, he can kind of predict the future, but only 1 second into the future. So you can set up everything for your turn, and then hit his foresight power, basically, and then you'll see what's going to happen. And then if you don't like it, you can just scrub that, do something else instead. So you, in a way, it's hard to fail, but this just gives you an opportunity to kind of try different approaches to beating the levels and stuff like that. And it's, so that side of it, the actual gameplay side of it is really cool. But I think where it really, really comes alive is the writing. It's just, it is funny. I know we had this thing about it's funny to me. I found it very funny. I didn't laugh out loud because, I'm not a buffoon, but it is. it is. I found the writing really clever and witty, and like even so, you can unlock cosmetics, for example. So if you do certain objectives, like bonus objectives throughout the level, you will earn confidence, is what it tells you. That's like the currency. So, and that helps you unlock cosmetics for your character. But then when you go to your wardrobe, it will say you own all of these outfits, but you don't have the confidence to pull all of them off yet. So obviously the more of these bonus objectives you do, the more confidence you get, and then you can wear more ridiculous outfits and stuff like that. And then there's like conversations they have with each other. So when they're standing outside of the door ready to breach the level, they'll chat to each other, and the plot unwinds during these points as well. But it's just really clever, and it feels like another one of those games that I'm going to say this is really good. But I don't, you guys probably, I don't know, Lewis, I feel like you might like it because it's kind of Fire Emblem-y in a way.
So right. What I do when I've not heard of a game on more or less all the next Veils that we've done is go on Steam to have a little look. And my initial reaction to it was that it looks very much like Banner Saga.
Right.
Do you know those
stylistically?
Games? Yes. Like a turn-based Fire Emblem-esque RPG. It took me a while to remember its name. I had to Google. Norse RPG 3 games before Banner Saga came up. I have no idea. Couldn't remember its name. And I really enjoyed the first Banner Saga. I played it once when I was sick over Christmas. But this looks really cool. Tactical Breach Wizards looks really, really cool.
Yeah, it is.
Cool game.
Cool game.
For cool gamers.
Yeah, baby. And it's, the story is cool. It took me, 15 hours or so to finish.
I've done it well.
And it was, very much enjoyable, start to finish. There's a little, the plot develops, but then there's character development as well. Like, at the end of, I think it's every chapter, you'll get, a dream where you play as one of the characters. And then sometimes they'll realise that they're dreaming, and they might be doing a couple of levels with a different version of themselves, and they're sort of talking to each other. So one of them, Jen, will be talking to herself, thinking having moments of self-doubt, and then then there's a bit of stage direction that pops up. It's like, well, actually, Jen, 87% of beta testers said that you were their favourite character. and then the other Jen is like, well, now the stage directions are talking to you. How egotistical are you? Kind of thing. It's just very, it's very silly, but very British as well. Like the humour is, quintessentially British, which is nice. But big recommend from me.
It looks good. It does. Steam also says overwhelmingly positive reviews. All reviews, there are 4,918, of which only 76 are negative. And there's nothing funny in those negative reviews. It's always like, it's more like a puzzle game, not a tactical game. That's all they're moaning about.
Yeah. Get a life.
Get a life, gimps. That's what I'm going to say to them.
Dorks. But it has made me want to kind of explore this Tom Francis guy, because I wasn't familiar with his work before that, but I understand he's quite well regarded. Used to be a writer for PC Gamer, I think, and has gone on to development and made these three or four very well reviewed games. So, bit of an auteur. So I might have to study his oeuvre. But yeah, that's me. Tactical Breach Wizards. Ow. What about you?
You know how I love a driving game.
You do.
I love an open world driving game.
Oh yes.
I don't love this open world driving game.
Oh no.
So I've been playing Test Drive Solar Crown. Much delayed, been coming out forever. One of those, and it just doesn't know what it wants to be. Like it doesn't pick one lane and stay in it. It doesn't know if it wants to be an arcade game and be a sim. It doesn't know if it wants to be an online game and an offline game. It doesn't know if it wants to be a PS4 game or a PS5 game. It's definitely in the PS4 game. It looks bad. Like whether this is bugs, whether this is just it's not going to look that good, I don't know. But like car games are notoriously good looking. That's what you associate with a car game. You're expecting it to look good, and this does not. Like, and it's framey, it's buggy, it's no great. And it's always online, so like if you're in the races, you can't pause them, you can't restart them, you can't like. I'm just like, well, that's not a great experience to begin with either. And then the driving is okay. Like the actual control and stuff, the cars is alright. It's quite a good implementation of the DualSense and stuff like that. You can, but then this is where it's weird because it's all very much arcadey in style and how you play it. But then you can press an L1 and you can like turn on the window wipers, turn on the lights, do all this like really in-depth stuff with the cars. Like, why the fuck do I even want to do that? Like it's just bizarre. And it's all like very much, I think they describe it, I've seen it described a wee bit like as a cross between like Forza and GTA Online, like because of how they want the online kind of bit of it to work, and you've got these two clans and you, or whatever you want to call them, and you need to basically pick one, and all your races is building up your rep for these in this like stupid story, which is not really a story, and it's quite sad, to be honest, for this. Test Drive is one of those like brands over time, which was like probably up there at one point as being like the leader in this kind of driving scene, and it's just fallen so far behind now. Like if you're wanting to play something like this and you don't have Forza, then go and play the Crew Motorfest. It's just a better game.
Just watching some of the videos on Steam for this, and I can see what you mean. Like some of the what I'm going to call cutscenes look really, really good. And these trailers then all of a sudden also cut to what looks like a cocktail party with lots of people sitting about, and it looks not good. Like it doesn't look
it's not
great. And there, from what I can see, there's no gameplay really in any of these trailers.
I mean, it feels like last gen is being generous. Like you could almost feel like it's even older than that. Like it just does not, for being a new game, it feels so far behind the competitors. Like it's not worth. Like Lilena sent me a message because she knows I like car games, and she's like, right, I need an open world like car game. I'm missing Forza because she sold her Xbox. Like, which
wow.
I'm like, I can't believe you're telling me this, Lilena. But she. And I'm like, no, don't go and play the Crew Motorfest. Don't play this because it's not. And whether there'll be some patches that will come along, and whether it's supposed to look this bad, I don't know. And maybe it is early days for it, but
not promising.
It's not promising at all, which is a shame.
I've never heard of this franchise.
You've never heard?
Me neither.
Well, it's quite an old school one. Like it's been going for quite a wee while. So you had Test Drive, and I think the last one was Unlimited.
Yeah. What I like to do with games like this is I like to look up the Steam reviews sometimes, just to give me an idea. It's kind of an old school trick that I picked up. It seems to be people's complaint that they were expecting Test Drive Unlimited, but it is definitely not that.
Yeah.
It's like so many issues, and There's mixed reviews on Steam at the moment. I know you're playing it on PlayStation, but yeah, I just think these Steam reviews seem to be quite a good. Yeah, 2,992 reviews, mixed.
It's not great.
Good.
Nope.
Quite
That's
disappointed. Because you know how much I like to enjoy a racing game.
What was the last good one that came out?
Probably the Crew Motorfest, like in terms of like recent ones. Because for all it is very much a Forza clone, it does a very good job of it. They've supported it really well. There's new content in it all the time. I think they've just come out with year 2 stuff.
That's Ubisoft as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good old Ubisoft can do no wrong in 2024. Smashing it, aren't they? Smashing it. They've nailed cross saving as well, haven't they? Nobody else has managed that.
Well done, Ubisoft.
Yeah. Give them their flowers while they're still around, I say.
Yep.
Good on them.
Force you to sign up to their fucking platform.
Hey, no one said they were perfect. Yeah. No, that's a shame. Yeah, that is a shame, Alex, because I know how much you like a good drive. Yeah. What else? That's a shame. We've kind of a bit of a sandwich there, haven't we? We've started off with a game that's a bit disappointing.
Ended in a disappointment.
Good one in the middle, and then another disappointing one.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
It's a shame.
I think
Big
we need
shame.
something to perk us up a little bit and end on a high.
Wow. What's this?
Boy, have I got the thing for you. It's a little thing around these parts that we like to call Guess the Outro.
That'll never get old.
You sure? I promised myself.
Because it's going to be ringing in my ears for like I don't know how long. So.
Okay, good. Well, then we'll stick with it for now. So this is a bit of a twist, though. Again, we've actually had a listener submission
for
this one. Yeah, this
Who
one.
submitted it? Are we allowed to know?
I don't know. Should I? We could.
Is it Phil?
We could. Well, you've ruined it now, haven't you? We could play, and then you could guess at the end who you think it is, or I could just tell you. It's up to you.
Let's guess at the end. My guess is going to be Phil.
Okay. So, clue number 1. Yes, Alex.
It's an indie.
Right, cool. That is an indie.
Yeah, there you go. That's your first clue.
I don't feel that that's a fair clue.
No.
Well, it's a pretty good clue. Just wiped out a load of games that it could be.
But
it doesn't really give you a clue to what game it actually is.
It's not a clue.
That's a clue.
It's not a clue. It's answering a question that was going to get asked 10 seconds later.
That's a clue. I've given you a bonus question then. Think of it that way. There's your clue.
A bonus question. Now we've got one question less to ask.
That's the good thing. I've given you your first question for
We've
free.
only got a finite amount of questions, Ben. We can't come up with these things. Right, so it's an indie. Right.
There you go. Come on. Question 1.
God. Alex. You're the one that's on fire with these.
No, you've been better.
You've both been good. You've been in good form.
Can we both?
And you will get this. I'm confident you'll get this.
It's an indie. Is the character name in the title?
No.
Doesn't fucking narrow it down. Stupid question. I was
One day you'll learn.
I was asking Alex if that was a question we should ask.
He was. We hadn't confirmed if that was a question yet.
Nope. Question 2.
He's tough. He's tough, Quizmaster.
Tough. So tough.
Was it released in the last 5 years?
Good one.
No.
Okay.
Ooh. Even then, an indie, you're talking like 10 years-ish tops.
Well, what was the
proper
first
indies.
one? If it was something like Braid.
But that. My mind goes to Braid. Maybe it's Braid. Unless the guy's name's Jonathan Braid, but I can't remember. I've not played it.
I mean, how would you narrow that down?
Imagine, I think it might.
Was it made by Jonathan Braid?
Because I don't really know. Was it? I suppose you could say, was it recently remastered?
That's a good one. Ask that.
Was it recently remastered?
No.
This is not Braid.
Not Braid. I bought that for £8. I've never played it before. I'm looking forward to it.
The remastered one? Do report back.
I shall. Is it a kissing game? Is it a... what kind of... Like, I'm thinking about genre, like action, Metroidvania, sort of really common... Is it a... It's an indie game. Try and get developer. We've spoken about Devolver. Or as a publisher, I guess. And we've already had a Devolver published indie game, so I'd say we could rule them out maybe.
But Ben didn't pick it, so...
Oh yeah, no, that's like... I'd forgot about that. That's a good one. Thanks.
Thanks. Question 4.
Should we see if it's a Devolver game?
Is that question 4? Yeah.
You're on question 4. Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
Is it a Devolver game?
No.
Okay.
Right. Fuck's
There
sake.
you go. You've wiped out a third of all indie games there. Well done.
Indie
I'm trying to
games.
think of older indie games. The other ones, what other? Fez? Is it Fez?
Fez, Undertale, Hollow Knight. Would you classify SteamWorld, the SteamWorld series, as an indie?
Potentially. So has there been more than one of these games in the series? Is that like part? Has there been?
That's a great question. That is a great question for which I do need to consult Wikipedia slowly.
So it's big enough to have a Wikipedia page. Wow.
And clearly, it might and might not have more than one game in the series, which makes you think that there could be.
Or is this a red herring, what I'm doing right now?
Maybe.
Like when you asked
Click
me
on the search bar
about
on
Link's
Wikipedia.
Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
And then you said, has this been out in the last 10 years? And I went, I don't know. I was being a gobshite. I might be doing that again. No, it's not had a sequel.
That wasn't the question.
What was the question?
Is it like in a series of games?
No
sequel?
No series, no.
I feel like we've got 2 answers there.
Right, so is that not 5? Do we not get a clue now?
Yep, you've got a clue now, and I think this will also give you a clue as to who chose this as well. So this will help on multiple fronts.
It's going to have a target price.
I would not pay more than £4.87. The clue is this soundtrack was composed by the same composer as the game Below.
Below. Oh, I feel like there's a small bell tinkling in the back of my head. When I think of the game Below, I think of Ethan. Because Ethan and I were on a podcast, maybe with you, Ben, was it Game Club?
Maybe.
We spoke about Below, and
he thought it was on
neither
Game
of us. He thought it was on Game Pass, and neither of us picked any of Ethan's games.
Yeah, sorry, Ethan. But thanks for the submission. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks. Below,
First ever
is that
listener
the
submission.
same as?
I mean, Below and Inside are the two that go together. But surely that's too easy a clue.
Is Below and Inside the same thing? The same?
No, I'm thinking of Limbo and not Below. What's Below? What is Below?
I think Below is a Cappy game. So Cappy are also
Grindstone, no?
Grindstone, and that would be Sam Webster, who is the. But then Below, I don't think is done by Sam Webster.
Grindstone's the last 5 years as well, isn't it?
Yeah. There is a game. I'm thinking back to this podcast that I did with Ethan, and we spoke about Below. I'm sure Sword and what's it called? By the something brothers. Skyrim. That also came up in conversation. You're right. Sword and Sacrifice by the something brothers. Bastard, I can't remember what it's called. Right. Because that is an indie. And I'm sure it was by Cappy. Is that a Cappy game, Ben?
Yes.
I don't think I know any Cappy games other than Grindstone.
Below.
I don't know what Below is.
I'm sure Below is a Cappy game.
But Grindstone definitely wasn't the last 5 years, was it?
Grindstone's older. Not as old as... Yeah, it's within the last 5 years, I think.
Well, it's after, I've not known you guys for 5 years, so... And it's come out after that, so...
So that's... So is the soundtrack by Sam Webster? No. Right, okay. So I'm thinking it's this sword and what's it called?
That's not Salt, because I keep thinking you're talking about Salt and Sanctuary and
I'm not,
Salt and
no.
Sacrifice, but you're not.
And it's like a proper this. I remember playing it on my phone over 10 years ago, maybe 2012 or something like that. And I have it. I think I've got it on Switch. I've got it on my phone still. I just can't remember what it's called. But it's a really cool... It's another one of these cool games for cool gamers. Really pixel art-ish. And the soundtrack is very good. Ben, is it that game? I can't remember the name of. Sword. I'm sure it's like Sword and Salt. Oh, fuck! I can't remember what it's called. What question one?
This one will be 8.
I have to think of a different tact. I think, but I struggle to remember the name of this game.
I mean, I'm no help here, Lewis, because I don't know any other Cappy games.
I think it's a Cappy. It might not be a Cappy game, but they are linked.
No, it is
somehow.
It is a. Oh
no,
sorry.
the game that I'm thinking of might not be a Cappy game.
Right.
And it's not a Sam Webster game. I think the other game that he had done was somebody's warehouse.
Wilmot's. No.
Wilmot's. Was it Wilmot's Warehouse? Is that what it's called? But that's Sam Webster did that. What was the clue again?
Composed the Below soundtrack as well.
It fucking is. It is that.
I'll add to that, Alex, just to bring you into the game. Also composed the Nobody Saves the World soundtrack too.
So Drinkbox.
Maybe that didn't help. I'm just giving you more information. Do with it what you please.
Right. Is the game like it's tricky. I would almost classify the game I'm thinking of as high fantasy, but you're like a weird knight, really old school pixel art, quite chunky pixels that convey quite a striking image. Bastard, what's it called? Can I check what the name of this game is on my phone? I won't Google it.
You may.
Right, I'm sure it's called Sword and something.
Just this once.
Oh God, can't I find it?
It's not actually there.
I'm going in the App Store.
this game that Lewis is.
Yeah, look, I think App Store, so you can look Googling anything.
Yeah.
What would you think Google? It's this game. Sword and something. Right. The game I'm thinking of is called Sword and Sorcery by Super Brothers. Or at least that's Ben's face has made me doubt this straight away.
Oh, Super Brothers! I remember them talking about Super Brothers, and that's
what I'm thinking of. But again, I don't know if it's because when we spoke about Below, we also spoke about Sword and Sorcery. This is difficult, but I think we need to ask a couple questions.
What?
Okay, question 8. You're on question 8. You got plenty. You still got one more clue left as well. Come on.
I'm just gonna. Is it Sword and Sorcery?
Yes, it is. Well done.
Well done, Lewis. I would have never
Ethan.
got that.
Was it Ethan?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. Big fan of Jim Guthrie.
Jim Guthrie, that's it.
Yeah. And as soon as Ethan sent this in, I was like, yes, this is a great song, because this was like the first OST that I ever listened to. Uh-huh. It's so good. So yeah, great shout. And it's funny you mentioned Sam Webster there, Lewis, because I think if I recall talking to Sam, I'm pretty sure Jim Guthrie is like kind of like his mentor.
Yeah, they worked together a lot. I remember from that interview. Yeah.
So and obviously now Sam Webster's gone on to that indie world that we mentioned earlier in the show. He's doing that Morsels game, isn't he? That's coming out.
Oh yeah,
which looks really like another cool game.
Very cool.
But yeah, Jim Guthrie. Yeah, he did Nobody Saves the World. I think that's the last one that he's done. But he's done loads of shit. But great pick, Ethan. Great.
That's an amazing pick. I'm chuffed at the powers of deduction that I just displayed.
Very good. Sword and
can I become a phone?
That Lewis.
And then your last clue, and I think this would have just sealed the deal anyway, Lewis, was first release on iOS in 2011.
Was it
2011?
Man.
Yeah, you did say like 2012, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, I was a guess. It's definitely back then.
Yeah, but good. Nice to have a listener submission. What we'll do is pop a link in the show notes for this episode. So if you are listening and you'd like to contribute some ideas to future guest the outros, just like Ethan has, then you can do that. That would be lovely. Because it's more fun for me as well, because I get to like research these games a little bit and stuff, so it's nice. But yeah,
this is a banger though. Absolutely,
it is an absolute banger. The song is called Dark Flute, and that is from Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery.